You've been working for decades, but now what do you do with that 401k? In fact, one of the big questions that a financial advisor gets is, when should I move my 401k from my former employer? Let's ask financial advisor Stuart Chamberlin, the founder of Chamberlin Financial. Stuart, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks.
It's a big question. When should you move that 401k, especially when you're moving into retirement? And the reason I ask is, if I've just worked someplace for 10 or 15 years, why not just leave it there? Especially if it's grown and it's done well. Is that a good idea or a bad idea?
Well, actually, it's not a good idea at all, because once you're moving into retirement, your needs, your objective is changed. I mean, you're going into what I call the risk adverse stage, where you're trying to avoid risk and you're trying to plan for income planning. So you want to focus more on the I, or the deferred I, or income, versus the G, the big G, or growth. You've been focused on growth all this time. So your mindset is to maybe leave it there, and maybe it can grow a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay, but the more it's sitting in the market, the more it is exposed to risk. And once you leave, you have an opportunity. It's a separation of employment is usually the open door to do what's called a rollover into something else that might not have as many fees, might have some guarantees in place, might have some sort of income strategy to help you out in retirement.
That's the thing. It's if you no longer work there, you might not get the same kind of fee break that you used to as being an employee. And I think that growth is also sometimes a little deceptive, because you might not remember or think about the fact that that growth is also in part because you were getting a match from the employer. You were dollar cost averaging. You weren't even thinking about it. So every 2 weeks, you put money in, so whether the market was up or down. But now, as you're saying, we've got to try to preserve it. But there's also another element. We've got to turn it into our own income stream. And if it's been one of these tax-deferred accounts, we got to start paying taxes. So a lot of moving parts in there. I'm not sure that this is something I want to take on my own. So where do I move it to?
Okay, that's a good question, because right away you need to sit down with a qualified financial advisor and start talking about these big topics about, where should I put the money that I've worked so hard to accumulate all these years? What should I roll it into to meet that objective? There are certain vehicles out there that can offer you safety of principal, potential growth, but without the risk, because you're shifting the risk from you, the client, to an institution that's willing to accept that risk. Also, something that might have a built-in income stream or a pay down that you can actually convert that working dollars into an income stream that you can rely on in retirement. A happy retirement is one you can rely on the income that your retirement plan is producing. Because being in retirement and riding up and down with the market is not fun.
Right.
That's the last place you want to be when you're in retirement.
Yeah, in fact, so the opposite of the dollar cost averaging is that you're getting the average cost, whether the market was up or down, and you are consistently putting money in. But if you're taking money out and the markets are going up or down, well, if you take out that $2,000 that you might need that month and the market's gone down 3 or 4 or 5%, it's almost like a double loss. Like, you've got to try to make both of them back.
It's the opposite of paying down a mortgage, actually. It works in reverse. So it's like an insult to injury. So especially if you're in a plan and you've left it there for a while, and now you have to take RMDs, and if you're doing required minimum distributions on a plan that has risk associated with the principal, and you have a bad year, you're selling into a bad market just to cover the RMD requirement.
Right. So what would your final answer be on when should you move a 401k from an employer? Do you take that with you, that week when you leave, as soon as you can?
Well, as soon as you can, depending on the plan administrator. Some plan administrators might say you have to wait, 90 days or something like that, depending on the plan administrator, after you've separated from employment. But you should work on that immediately, because there's so many other things out there that you have access to that you will not have inside a retirement plan, a 401k.
If someone is that 6 or 12 months away from retirement, do you mind them reaching out to you and kind of you explain to them where they can go next?
Oh, that's absolutely fine. I mean, most of my clients, that's where they come from. People that are getting ready to retire. They're 6 months away from retiring, and they're just now looking at, okay, now what do I do? How do I convert this into an income stream?
That's the important question to answer. Stuart, thank you very much. So you're leaving that workplace. You've got that 401k. Hopefully you're going to be bringing it with you, as Stuart has said. But now you got to figure out how to turn that into an income stream. If you'd like to find out how to do that, you can talk here with Stuart Chamberlin, the founder of Chamberlin Financial. Thank you for watching.